Welcome to the Hat Chat podcast. I hope you're feeling pumped with adrenaline. What episode number is it, Ross?
It's episode number 49. Thanks for asking, Chris Trott.
Thank you, Ross Hornby.
Who else is with us, Chris Trott?
Hello. Oh, it's me, Alex Smith.
Perfect.
How are you doing? I'm here reporting live from the scene of central Bristol. Sunny today. Sort of the same. It looks
Do
the
you have
same
ice
out
in the
of my
sky as
window.
well?
Huh?
Have you got
We
ice in
have
the
no
sky
eyes
as well?
in the sky
No
today.
ice in the sky.
No. I'm trying to get a few of the seagulls on side, but they're resistant to my persuasion so far. Yeah, no, it's
Shame.
all right.
Cool.
Sunny.
We've made some improvements being remote here. Hopefully, the talk between us is going to be like we're in the same room, sat on each other's laps, naked and oiled up.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. That's
Wow.
ultimately the dream, you know, what we're going for. So we shall see.
Yes.
Anyway, what's going on? You know, what's happening?
What's going
Ross?
on is who did that fingal for starters? I forgot the name. What was it?
Oh, great point. Guitar Girl Alex is the person
Guitar Girl.
that
Alex,
did
thank
it.
you.
Thank you very much for doing that for us, for pumping up our adrenaline. Much appreciated.
Very.
yeah.
It's kind of similar to your early work, Trott. Working with Neridian. Is it? Is that a
Why
Pokemon
would
name?
you? Yeah, it's a made-up Celtic name. Yes.
Why can't I bring up Neridian?
Because no, you can bring it up. It
Someone
was
else brought it
actually
up the other day.
talked about on our subreddit. Yeah. It was a time in your life when you're a teenager and you're rebellious and you've got to make a metal band, and all that anger because I'm a middle class suburban white guy and I've got problems. Our vocalist screams until he vomits because he doesn't have
you never
vocal
understand
control.
how people do that. Oh, it's the screamo singing.
I think that's quite interesting. Like, I don't know how correctly I am anymore, but I'm just going to roll with it.
better.
I think
Fine.
that actually highlights something quite important. And something that I think a lot of people are lusting after is that, like, they call it the badass complex, right? And it's not just a complex. It's also a need, I think, really. Like, you see it all the time, like everywhere around you, like in films and television and music, like all these individual people, like empowering themselves and being, like in control and like important and yeah, all those things. And so yeah, when you're at that age or whatever, or creating like that band, like you were saying, that is quite interesting and important, especially like at that age when you're in your like late teens. Was it you were doing that?
No, it was like mid-teens, I'd say.
Mid-teens. And it's like you desperately do want to feel as though you have like some impact on the world, I guess.
I definitely remember having a certain ego at that point. You know, when you're in school and you think you're starting to get on top of everything and you're going through the system and you think you know more than your parents already. It's like, I can't believe you didn't know that. I just learned that in science. And I think I know how the world works now, actually. And there's this like ego level at that point, and I think that all feeds into it. But I was always playing guitar. I did it because I was jealous of my brother playing guitar, and I couldn't let that happen.
Fair.
So, and then I've always been into metal.
So you broke his guitar?
I smashed it, yeah, which is the metal thing to do, really, to show domination and also
exactly.
to involve
badass.
myself in the scene. It's badass.
I couldn't let that happen. Oh, ow. I couldn't let that happen, he says, smashing. Yeah, just smashing. Sorry, mate. Yeah. Did you just smash my guitar out there? Yeah, sorry. Saw you get good at it and just couldn't let that happen.
Yeah, you're
I'm the
starting to
young
improve,
one.
mate. Sorry.
You're old hat. I'm the fresh guy on the street. I'm the better brother. No, it wasn't.
I went the other way. Both my brothers play guitar, and then I decided to play piano. So that was it. My little brother's amazing at guitar. He learned classical guitar. My older brother was probably a poser, I'd say, in terms of playing guitar. Like, he learned a few things and then kind of just got bored of it and just wanted a nice guitar.
He didn't for guitar. He did it for the fame that came, well, not fame, but the attention.
Well, he just wanted to rock out on a guitar, but he only knows a couple of riffs really. And then my little brother just showed both of us up and learned classical guitar, and I'm not competing with that. I know a couple of ditties on the piano, and that's it.
He does music nowadays, right? He produces stuff.
Yeah. He still loves his music. Yeah. But he do like really complex classical pieces and stuff on an acoustic guitar, and I was like, wow, impressed. Yeah. But that's what happens when you practice and really, pay attention to the craft. So there you go.
And he need a drive. Like mine was, I can't let my brother be better than me. That's literally what carried me through past that frustrating hurdle of why do my fingers hurt? Why won't they go in the right position? Why can't I play all these songs? The thing that kept me going was my brother's doing a solo over there on the other side of our shared room. I need to be able to do that solo. I need to
over there.
I need to do a faster one.
Reach.
We're just dueling all the time.
It is interesting. Whilst I was the oldest sibling and had nobody to compete with to motivate me, so here I am.
You had a brother to crush at least.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Really, it's really interesting. I unfortunately, I'm not particularly qualified or read up about it to comment properly. I mean, what's new? It is interesting the sibling dynamic, and even also the lack of sibling as well. There's some people who are only childs or whatever, and it's interesting to see that impact on them as a person. How not having to deal with a sibling has changed them and how they act, and also your position within a hierarchy of siblings as well. Also, I think changes you quite a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that would be. Yeah, I mean, I don't know many people who haven't got brothers and sisters. To be fair, actually thinking about it,
I know a few, but again, without trying to make sweeping statements about. Because you're raised in this way, you're going to have these certain traits. It is based on my own personal experiences, I have noticed certain traits in certain people that I know are in a different sibling or non-sibling setup. It's interesting, not necessarily positive.
But personally, I've found, and just give me a wave if things are so crackly and broken up that you can't hear me properly. But I found that most only childs have similar problems in terms of social problems. Of this only children, I've had lots of friends who are only children, and I've seen similar challenges in them. And I personally have found that I tend to get on best with people who are a younger sibling, which is interesting as well. I find that when I just, again, this is just anecdotal, but I always find that when I tend to get on best, or I tend to have the best sort of social relationships or productive relationships with people who are a younger sibling, which for me is that big brother, little brother dynamic, which I understand, and so
could it be brought down perhaps to essentially learning guitar or whatever? It's just a trained thing. You are comfortable in that environment where you are the older sibling interacting with a younger sibling, therefore it translates easily to other people that are younger siblings because you know the dynamic already and you just kind of fulfill that role.
I think that's it. And I also think that the people who are the younger sibling have learnt the skills and got to interact with older siblings. This sounds really weird, and obviously, like I say, I don't necessarily know whether there's any science to this, but I think if you're a younger sibling or a middle sibling or an older sibling, there are different experiences for each of those people, and they learn certain skills in dealing with the other elements of their sibling relationship, right? So understand them learning how to work with their younger sibling, work with their older sibling, that kind of thing. And definitely.
Yeah, probably the only way to figure it out is for us to first of all start breeding families, and then we put them in controlled environments, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, so hard science. Yeah.
Hard science. I'll do the reproducing if you want. It's fine. I can just knock them out. And then we'll have loads of children in loads of different circumstances, and then we'll give them a family. Yeah. So you have a nuclear family, classical, mother, father. We'll throw in a sibling. Fuck it. And then we've got an only child one. identical. I'll try and keep the DNA very, very similar. So I'll just keep reproducing.
Wow.
We can get rid of the ones that aren't very, very similar, obviously. Honestly, there'll be tons of them. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then, so like 2 brothers, 2 sisters, 1 brother, 1 sister, loads of siblings of a variety of on the whole spectrum of genders. And then we'll see what changes they are. But all the other siblings and stuff have to say the exact same stuff, Truman Show style, for it to be really controlled. Right? The parents have to be exactly the same, say the same thing. The siblings have to say the same thing.
This is going to be a lot of work. Just keeping all of the
scripting,
all of the checks and balances in place to create a fair test is going to be a lifetime of work.
Oh, think of the science, though.
Wait 1 hour.
He's off script.
Trott's going to approach a family like he has training his dog. Just like no, we need to take the meals away from each of the children on the table so they know not to expect it.
At 10:05.
Oh, lovely roast, everyone. Okay, right, we're going to take this away now for a bit, and then all the children that day they're not having the roast. Oh, we're not having it. Oh,
all right. It's really hard science right now. Let's see how they react. I want brother 2 to come in and flip the table, please. Come in now. Yes, and now flip. Now punch the OG.
Just all stage
patient 0. Punch.
Crazy. It's hard, obviously, because you're in a country where human rights don't matter. So obviously, access to all of these things is hard. So that's fair enough. It sounds like an interesting test, Trott. But I guess the other way is to ask people. I guess.
I guess
how their personal experiences were.
People aren't truthful, Ross.
No, people lie. Ross.
People lie.
Yeah, people lie. Yeah, true. We need to crack into psychologists' private files and sneak on people. All right.
So speaking of experimenting on people, you guys, I'm guessing, have roughly vaguely heard of the MK Ultra program.
Yes. It's been used so many times in popular fiction.
In all sorts of things. They have people that, if you're not familiar with it, I believe it was ran by the CIA, I think. Yeah. The CIA ran a program where they tried to essentially give people psychic powers. They believed at the time, this is, I think, during the Cold War, so, all sorts of wacky stuff was being designed and thought of then. They essentially were giving people psychedelic drugs on the whole, a lot of LSD, and a lot of other crazy stuff. They also gave them electroshock therapy and everything in order to try and create people with psychic powers. One of the most famous reported ones was remote viewing capabilities. So remote viewing was they would ask an individual who'd been in this program to find someone or something. So say, for example, they wanted to locate a general or locate a nuclear weapon or whatever.
Force.
But anyway, it basically just turned out that all they were able to do was wipe people's memories. And so they essentially found out that if you gave people gigantic doses of LSD and then electrocuted their brains quite a lot, it would just scramble a person's brain so much.
No way.
They would literally leave the program. So there was a bunch of crazy stuff. When MK Ultra got shut down, some of the lab/therapy places they were using. So a lot of the time they would say that this is a home for people with mental issues, so that they would try and rehabilitate them and stuff. That's how they're sort of framing it. But by the end of the MK Ultra program, they essentially were just letting people out into the streets, out of these facilities, just going, yeah, sorry, that didn't really work. It's over now.
Good luck.
Go. And people were so scrambled by this ridiculous use of LSD and other drugs and therapies that they just didn't even know what a human being was. So you'd have a person in their 30s walk out into the world and just be like, what am I? What is this? What is everything? That's how scrambled they made people.
Jeez.
So do you think you're going to go down that route, Trott, would you say, with the family?
Yeah, do you think you'd take up
blank kids, as they call it,
stance on this?
I feel like they were on the cusp of finding remote viewing, right? They just couldn't. They don't have the technology. But nowadays,
so you want to go back, reopen the book. Is what you're saying?
Maybe we should. I mean, we've all seen Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It'd be cool to have that without the nosebleeds. So I think we could maybe find a way to do that. I quite like those powers. So I'd quite like. Yeah. Let's start it back up again.
Not understand the world around you because your mind is so messed up.
Yeah. But and if it all doesn't work out, put me in there so I just forget everything and what I am.
Redo him.
So
Rewipe
dark.
him. Another 6 months of treatment, doctor.
Winter Soldier me.
More LSD. More. Just
More
keep giving it to him.
LSD.
Give him glasses full of liquid LSD. Sure. One
I
a day.
personally think MK Ultra was a complete success, and it's a cover-up. So,
Yeah.
and they said, oh yeah, it totally failed. All we did was scramble people's brains, and it was an absolute failure. But really, they've got super agents.
Jeez, yeah.
And now it's starting to come out with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's their way of telling us that we've done it, guys. And we're building up
In the superheroes.
the general population to get on board with the idea of superheroes being among us and being cool, because they literally are ready to go. They're just getting the costumes ready, I think. Something like that.
I see. Right. So
I mean,
over time, we'll start seeing them appear in costumes.
Never
Looking
mind the
forward to it.
costumes. They won't know their own name when you talk to them.
No.
Please, super dude. What's your name?
Shut up, lizard boy.
What
I'm doing
is
something.
name?
What's
I
your
got laser
name?
eyes.
This guy's so screwed up.
Oh, man.
I think I just
Yeah,
wrote
that's
The
like-
Boys again. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Superhero
stuff based
name.
on testing on people. Like, I mean, obviously, any superhero film essentially just has that theme. But of course, it's. I guess the roots are the horrible shit they did back in the wars and stuff with people. I don't suppose either of you have seen. I don't suppose, is it Five came back? I think it's called. All the reference films for it.
About the film producers, directors, or whatever it was.
Yeah,
And
it's to do with like the World War II and stuff, and all propaganda films.
Right.
I stumbled across the reference films on Netflix last night, and my God, it's horrible. It's horrifying.
The reference films. What do you mean?
Yeah, so like the actual propaganda that was made at the time.
Oh.
Are on Netflix.
They're on Netflix in all their bloody gore and everything. It's pretty brutal. The first one they hit you with is the Nazi concentration camps, which is just like so brutal, and my God, it's just it's a real eye opener to
That's
all
all
of that
on
craziness,
Netflix.
and that's all on Netflix. Yeah, they put like how many are there? Let me see, 12
Holy
films.
crap.
Yeah, 12 different films which highlight various aspects of the horrors of war and stuff. So yeah, things like the testing and stuff they were doing on people, and like shrinking people's heads and stuff, and just like horrible shit. So
How do you shrink a head?
man. Well, I don't even want to ask. I didn't want to ask how they did it, but they basically just got groups of German. Well, once they discovered the camps and stuff, they had to get groups and groups of Germans who lived nearby to come and actually witness this, because obviously, it's harder to get things out back then. So how do you prove this happened without showing loads of masses of people? So they're just bringing all these old ladies in just to go, yeah, this is what happened, and just showing awful disasters. And yeah, they were just testing on people in very, very weird and fucked up ways because, Nazis. So yeah, but if you wanted to watch them, it is interesting, but also very, very brutal. But
Harrowing.
I think it's these type of things that you kind of have to see sometimes, just because I think when you hear people, denying the Holocaust and stuff like that, you can't. You just can't.
No, have a look at this, actually.
Yeah.
Deny it now. I think it needs to come in at that point, yes.
Yeah, but it's very interesting.
I don't
stuff.
need to watch that to understand that it existed and that it was horrible.
Of course, yeah.
However,
I mean, they're not all like
convincing, that.
Yeah, but I think they really hit you hard in the first one straight away. I was just like, let's see what this is, a documentary. It's like brutal. So yeah.
And that's you
But
being
factually interesting.
conditioned from years of watching horrific things on the internet.
Just
And
things that
you
just
still
happen
found it bad.
upon. Yeah, you just stumble upon them. The horrible things happen all the time online, or they get shared through Bluetooth. Back in the day, we've all seen them. The horse fucking, the little balls that come out of. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The weird things, cake farts, very weird. Also, not the same level as Nazi concentration camps. Sure, no one likes a cake fart. Cake farts are weird. Just throwing it out there.
Cake farts are funny in comparison to the other
What a
stuff.
waste
they
of
are
a cake. What a waste
Massive
of an
waste of a cake. Nice chocolate
cakes
cakes,
were
farts on
nice
it.
looking.
Yeah, but you do
Bare
get those
ass
nice,
fart. No,
like,
thank you.
whipped peaks at the end of it, though, don't you? Like the peaks you get on the top of frosting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little like whipped
Pushes
up.
them back. Well, it kind
frosty.
of gives them a little wispy, little wind swept look.
I was watching once at a music and sports festival where a woman threw a used panty liner at the tent I was in, and it had little brown whipped peaks on one part of it.
What do you mean?
That
Whipped
sticks in my
peaks?
mind.
Like just
Just shit. It's all
my
shit.
God. Just
I assume.
Jeez.
Maybe not.
Oh,
maybe not.
I remember that for the rest of my life. I think. Yeah. But that's just what I
Thanks
think
for
of when you say
sharing.
cake farting. It's all right. Have it.
Yeah.
You didn't have to see it. You just have to imagine it.
That's
Yeah,
true.
but have you ever tugged? I don't know, things from an animal's arsehole? You know, maybe like a little bit of fabric
see that
or
when you were
string,
describing
strand
that, I was
of
just
grass,
like,
maybe.
oh no! See, that sounds
Yeah.
horrifying as well. Really horrifying.
Yeah, because he got hold of. I'm talking about my dog, by the way. He got hold of. I don't know. He chewed up one of his toys, and there was like a little bit of fabric left in there. And there was a point where he was just really struggling to get his shit out. He was just crouching down for ages. He looked a bit concerned, eyes darting around the place. He's not sure what's going on. He knows he should be finished by now. He should be done. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll check. Let's just see what's going on back there. And there's like, a little bit of a fabric dangling down. I'm like, okay, well, I'll have to, get the poop bag on the hand, tug it out, and then obviously outflows the rest. So you open the faucet, and he's just the look of relief on his face, though. It's worth it. Honestly, look of relief on that little dog's face. I've never seen him smile so much. But it's brutal.
Do it for him
gross. Every single day. You do it for him. And yeah, just constant everyday handling of poop. That's the key thing you need to think about when you're getting an animal.
I mean, yeah, that's the cost
of that kind.
Dog. That's the cost.
It is. That's the cost,
dog, right? Like,
daily poop handling.
Yeah, like that's kind of how I see it as well. I think that's why I want a really little dog. Because it's just,
a little kind of chocolate poops.
So much more manageable.
Yeah, I'd love a big dog, but like, yeah, God, when me and it are out, competing each other for who can do the biggest poop, I'm like, meh.
The dog's gonna win, and the dog is not eating what you're eating. That's gonna be a stinky poop to pick up. I barely I struggle sometimes using those little bags to get mochis.
Really?
Droppings. One I've when you don't pick it up straight away and you come back late and there's like a dried out one along with the other one, and I'm like, I have to pick up two now. And that's almost reaching capacity of the bag. I don't want to know what it's like for like a Labrador with those little bags.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's only I guess medium-sized dog, really.
He's medium.
But he does poop twice on his morning walks. So I try to be conservative with the bag usage. So I'm trying to catch both in one. But he's filling an entire bag. So and when you think, I'm thinking, God, so you've slept all night and you've had all of this inside of you. Oh, no wonder you were a bit cranky this morning.
Human beings have more than that in them.
Of course, but
you don't have to bag it all the time.
He's there running around and he's sitting next to the front door. He's like, look, I need to go. And I'm like, I know why. You got two poops inside you. Let's get rid of them. Let's go. Poop you.
Are the bags you guys use biodegradable?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know how long it takes them to biodegrade. No, not really.
You can get like a big box of them of rolls. And there's 100 on a roll, and I've got like 20 rolls, or 100 rolls even. I've just got so many. And you just throw them all. I have like a bucket, which I then put in the back garden compost. So it all just breaks down back there.
Oh, you keep it. Oh my God, you've got the poop bucket.
Too like nitrate rich to be put in compost?
I don't know.
I just want it to break down back there in a
because what do you do with dog poo otherwise? Bins, dog poo bins.
Throw it the neighbours.
There are dog poo bins,
Chuck it, bag it up, launch it over the neighbour's window. I've got a slingshot I can let you. If you want. Getting rid of it.
Get some flour in there, some water. Perfect.
Yeah, you're never without a weapon out and about if you've got a dog and a dog poop with you. If someone fucks you up and you've got a handful of dog poop, you're like, well, I've got this bad boy.
You use it like a morning star to slap it across their eyes each time. I'm going to keep slapping until this bag breaks. Do you really want to keep fighting?
Or the Russian smear. But I don't mean Russian smear. Rush and smear. So you could have the bag open, but you've got the poop in hand. And then you just smother all over face. And then you've got, and you're like, fuck you for messing with me. I don't know why they messed with you at the time. Obviously, this is a completely hypothetical situation, but you have the poop. And that's the important part.
And you could get like a bandolier of it because there is enough of it as well. So you just got loads of it.
Well, it's annoying because I was thinking of creative ways to take revenge. I mean, I'm not going to, but basically, a few floors above me, there's somebody who has a dog as well. I think it's a pit bull, which I do believe is illegal in this country. But it pisses. Yeah, I think. Well, I think pit bulls are illegal here. I think so. Specific breed of it. Either way, It's actually it's a nice dog. I've met it, but it pisses down its balcony, onto the balcony above mine, and then onto my balcony.
Oh.
So there's a kind of a flow system here.
A waterfall.
And then potentially onto my dog at times. There has been a little drizzle. And for ages we were just like, God, is our dog pissing all over the place? Like we were checking, like it wasn't all over the place. There was a couple of drips and drabs. And I was like, no, he didn't do that there. He hasn't pissed out there today. This guy was up there, and the next day when I realized that this was dog piss, or I thought it was dog piss, I met this guy he was in the park nearby walking his dog, and I was like, oh, that's a nice dog. And he was like, yeah, mate, yeah, I've been having some shit recently from my neighbours below me. Apparently, I've I try to make sure he pisses in the right place, but sometimes he misses. It's not a big deal. It just trickles down. Rain washes it down, doesn't it?
So
and
he
didn't know
to you after.
Yeah, he didn't know I'd lived underneath him. Essentially, a couple of
That's
floors
me.
underneath. And he's just like, yeah,
shit in face.
So I was straight after the gym.
Moment.
Yeah, he was like, straight after the gym, these guys complained below. I went down there, showed them what's what, offered them a 20 quid to clean up, and they were still giving me a bit of shit about it, but I think they'll be quiet now. I'm like, fucking hell, your dog is literally pissed all over if you walk past my block of flats, you can smell the dog's piss. It's so fucking
rancid,
horrible and rancid. It's like, I'm so glad it's not my dog doing that smell, because he pisses straight onto a little tray, he does a little kind of squat on it. It's really nice. He sticks to the tray, and the tray gets cleaned, and that's good. But yeah, this guy just did not give a shit. He was just such a typical, and I was just like chatting to him like, oh, okay, cool. And he was quite big. He was.
You didn't want to say
gym.
That was
he had
me.
Barrel
Where's my 20
arms
quid?
And a pit bull and stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Luckily I'm moving soon, so I'm okay. But yeah, what do I do with that poop? Maybe I should start throwing up to his balcony, maybe. And he's like, why is there poop here? What's all this?
You could
his
anonymously
own dog,
report the illegal breed.
There's also poop coming down.
Well, I don't want the dog to get destroyed, though. I feel like I don't want to be that guy.
Be rehomed, I assume.
What if it's a pit bull?
I don't think they'd be
but
put
either
down,
way,
would they?
I don't know. It depends on if it's on a dangerous dogs list and stuff. Well, that's the thing. If it's a dangerous dog, that's what they would do. So yeah, I'd rather not involve myself in that, because it was fine, and Murphy and the dog played well. That was great. Sure. It was just the fact that he was just openly admitting to the fact that his dog was pissing down onto my belongings and potentially onto my dog, which was very frustrating. So yeah.
People
piss
so
smells.
selfish.
And so every time I open my balcony, I can just smell his dog's piss. And if you look on the walls, you can just see this kind of greenish, yellowy trail where it's just trickled down. This guy just did. Why would you want your balcony to be stinking like piss all the time? He just didn't give a shit, and it's just like, can't wait to leave. But yeah, stinky piss. Who needs it?
Yeah, it's probably a bad time to announce that I've been living with this really jacked guy, and we both decided to get a pit bull imported.
No,
you
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Look at it cascade, he says. As it falls through the floor.
Yeah, and I take slow-mo shots of the piss trickling down and put it on Instagram.
Yeah, he's catching it in action. Going, yeah, lol, offered him 20 quid just to clean up, doesn't matter. 20 quid, what's that going to cost? What about the actual cleaning? Ridiculous. So yeah.
I'd just taken the 20 quid and been like, all right, thanks for 20 quid. What are you going to do about the dog pissing?
Yeah. What's the thing? What if I just collect Murphy's piss over time and then just go up there with a paintbrush, just slather it over his front door and his handles and stuff, and then just walk off? I'm moving anyway, so I'm out. I'm done. You won't even find out who did that. It was me paintbrushing his door with dog piss. It's like,
why stop there? Let's fill water with
smell?
Dog's piss and catapult it at his balcony.
We could start
again.
Yeah, we could start
have the slingshot
again.
We've got one of these slingshots in the warehouse. I think there's one in there.
They're powerful. They're very powerful.
Wow.
But yeah, we could do that. We could do that. I mean, obviously, it feels like he wouldn't really be bothered about piss on his balcony from the sounds of it. So maybe the door handles.
I think there's a limit, though, Ross. I think there's a limit of how much he can tolerate. There'd be a moment where it's like maybe a bathtub full of piss on my balcony
hose through the letterbox. Hose through the letterbox and piss just trickling through onto his doormat. He's like, why is this? It's my dog pissing on my doormat? I don't know. And there'll be this complex that he builds up with his dog. He's like telling his dog off, like, don't piss there. Stop pissing there.
And then right at the end, Ross, when you move out, calling card, £20 note through the letterbox.
Clean this up, mate. Yeah, this would be a nice clean up.
There you go.
Or
That'll
the
sort it out.
classic bucket above door. When door opens, bucket spills
Oh, man.
and it's the
Nice.
full like
It's glitter.
what's
It's all
this?
glitter.
You got to be
Glitter
careful
and
though,
piss.
because he might have
It's all
Bernard's
glitter,
watch.
soaked in dog piss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like
right,
to
but-
film that. That would be, but then a Bernard's watch. But yeah, it's
might be able to
yeah,
stop
it's
time.
disgusting, and yeah, his attitude towards it, confiding in a stranger, and I'm the one suffering the consequences of it. So very interesting.
It is
dynamic
funny.
there.
I guess it was the neighbor above you then that complained.
It was,
The
yeah,
20
it
pounds.
was.
Right.
Well, because if mine getting a trickle of it down and the smell of it, they must be getting shitloads. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
I imagine so.
yeah. But that's not
Those
cool.
poor
If you do
guys.
that in real life, if you're one of those people doing that, fucking fuck you. That's all I have to say.
Stop being so self-centered
Hello.
that
Come
you
on, clean your
decide to
piss
get.
up.
You
Hello.
know, and like getting an illegal pit bull, you must be consciously aware that they are illegal, right? And you're just doing it anyway.
I actually
Or is
asked him the breed, and he just was hesitant to say. He just
Yeah.
claimed that he wasn't sure. He was like, "Oh, his head's going to crack soon." I was like, "What does that mean? Crack? Is that a bad
Head's
thing?"
gonna
Apparently,
crack.
their heads like, well, it's the shape of their head kind of like changes as they grow because it was a puppy at the time. But yeah, fuck, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's a crossbreed. Maybe it's a safer breed, but still, it looked pretty. I was worried because I mean, sometimes you get these really mean-looking dogs, but they're actually kind of nice, and that's fine. But Murphy was fine with him, although that dog could have ripped his head off. Just saying.
Right. Yeah. So apparently they don't actually split or crack. It's just the terminology. But muscle develops around the skull, and the bones get a bit heavier as the dog grows. So it's like a visual change.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. He said it was
Crazy.
called cracking. So yeah, but yeah,
Ugh,
dog
That's a
talk.
horrible term.
Dog
Can't wait for my
talk.
pit bull's head to crack.
Have you met any crazy lizards? Have lizards been pissing on you, Smith? Maybe.
Hold on. Apparently you're only hearing me through one ear. Is
I
that
am.
right?
Yeah, getting through left channel for some reason. Just left channel.
Right. Okay.
A
One
few
sec, I'll change
audio
it back to the other
issues
thing.
here.
It's fine for me.
Hey, is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
But Trot, you were getting both anyway because the other thing
Yeah.
I just chose line instead, which I think will reduce crackling.
Okay.
But
Cool.
if you're getting both Trot to the stream,
It's all good.
It's all good. This
I mean I've
audio
changed it back
fixes.
now. That's why. That's what I'm getting at. So like,
That's what sounds fine now.
if I do this now,
It's good.
hello.
Okay,
Hello.
it's manageable.
I think
Yeah.
is the audience getting mono?
No, yeah, they're getting mono because I mix it all down anyway.
Okay.
There is no- Okay. All right. Well, anyway, let's try this. Sorry, Ross. You're just gonna have to deal
That's all right.
with a single ear. For
No,
now.
that's fine. Yeah, I can deal with it.
No, I mean the only thing when I go to like lizard shops and stuff, which by the way are amazing to go to, like reptile stores, I just love going in because there's just so many interesting, crazy creatures in them. Like I feel feel a bit bad because I don't know how I feel about like keeping less complex pets. One part of me is always like, well, I mean they are stupider or less. They require less stimulation. Let's say. Like, you know,
Yeah.
when you look at, for example, keeping fish at the bottom of that scale of, you know, like I think most people could deal with the death of a fish a little easier than they could deal with that of a dog. Or probably quite a lot. I know people, you know, get really attached to fish sometimes, but a lot of the time that is like projection. I mean, it's all projection. Let's be honest. When we feel pain from losing pets, it is because of the investment of feeling you put into them, right? Like, that's the reality of it. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but
No,
ultimately,
you're right.
I feel
I think you're
that-
right.
Yeah,
And I think you would get a more emotional connection with a dog than you would a fish because you physically get mannerisms and behaviors that you wouldn't get with a fish.
They're more capable of expressing a reaction to your empathy.
And we tap
Yeah.
into
You know,
that.
a waggy
social
tail,
social
you know,
creatures, yeah.
Eyebrow
That makes sense.
expressions.
Yeah.
They
So
all
for me,
what
like,
sell
if-
emotion.
like for me, there's this kind of scale of like, which is probably evident from when we went fishing and stuff like that. Like I have this kind of scale in my head of how much I care about certain animals, and that might be entirely made up by me. I don't know, but for me, like fish are pretty far at the bottom of the scale of things I feel empathetic towards. And then obviously the more complex the creature gets, the more empathetic I feel towards it. And when I say complex, I mean, like you say, capable of expressing a reaction to our empathy. So with lizards, I feel they're somewhere in between. Like certain lizards, I'm like, you're a pretty simple little creature. Like I think the easiest way to think about reptiles is in the same way that people think about birds. So like, how you have some birds that are small little berry-eating, bug-eating birds who are tiny little things. They might be, in flocks or whatever. And then you have crows and ravens and parrots and some of the sort of smarter birds. Yeah, like the ones that show a bit more a need for stimulation, a need for a varied experience in their life, a little bit of challenge. And I think you can definitely see that in reptiles. So for example, the one just behind me here, Dorito, she definitely is the smartest of the three I have. She really, really needs a lot of stimulation. She needs a varied diet as well, which is again another form of stimulation, so like she loves eating. They're very, very food driven, and giving them different things to try, you can tell if I haven't interacted with her or haven't fed her, she'll be much more like running up the walls of the enclosure, just being like, I want to do something, I want something to happen, I want to be fed, or I want to get out and run around, or I need a poo. That kind of thing is easily expressed by her. Whilst the leopard gecko above her here, Randy, he is a little complex. Like you can definitely, he recognizes you, and when you come up to the door with food and things like that, he will walk up, he'll put his head out, he will look around, like he is inquisitive. And then you get other smaller lizards, less complicated lizards that are very much, they don't want to interact with human beings at all. They don't want that. They're not interested in that. If you put a hand in the enclosure, they will try and go to the other side of the enclosure. And it's a scale of intelligence, really. But it's really interesting. And the point I was trying to get to was basically, I'm not sure how I feel about keeping reptiles in the future. I have really enjoyed this and really interesting, and I've learned a lot about it and everything. But for me, a lot of the time, I feel a little bad about having them in tanks. In terms of, I know that Dorito, for example, would 100% benefit from having a larger enclosure. And this is actually slightly above the standard. You can't see all of this tank. It extends behind me a bit here. But like this is slightly larger. This is about a foot longer than the like recommended amount. But for me, it's still not enough for them. They need much more stimulation. So I don't think I'd do it again, is what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but who knows? Well, I mean, I really would like a dog or a cat. But in this flat, I can't have animals moving around very much. They don't want me because I only rent this flat, so they won't let me have anything like that. But hopefully, I will move out at some point in the next year or two to somewhere further out that has like a garden and things like that will hopefully change that. But yeah, it's been cool.
It's interesting how your thoughts on their intelligence and capabilities didn't lead to a different conclusion where it's like, well, they're too dumb to notice the size of their tank anyway, so it doesn't matter. Instead, you have a level of empathy there where it's like, this is not their natural habitat. I think they're aware of that to some degree, or they could be have a better existence.
They're such awesome creatures, exactly. Like they're amazing. They're really amazing things, and they're I mean, they're just really awesome. And part of me is just like, I guess like rescuing reptiles from like really bad like domestic environments is probably a really good thing to do. Like rehabilitating, and because you can. Like reptiles are quite cheap and quite a lot of people are interested in keeping them, and a lot of the time they do it badly, and so there's a lot of chances for rescuing stuff. But
I feel like there is a potential here for a Dog the Bounty Hunter-esque show where Smith is like he's his own guy, and he's very hyped up on the fact that he wants to save reptiles, and you literally just raid people's buildings, smash through the glasses, and save reptiles.
Bear macing everyone left, right, and center.
Bear mace, yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, they're right down this way. Bear
mace.
mace. And anyone trying to help me, like, yeah, we can get you the door open. Bear mace. So, yeah. No, I would love to.
It's 2 centimeters smaller than a minimum enclosure.
Get bear maced. That guy's 8 years old. So I would love to go to like somewhere like Madagascar or somewhere where a lot of like these crazy reptiles come from. I'm excited just to see regular lizards habitat. When we go traveling.
Yeah, whenever we see a little newt or something, yeah.
It's like, it's cool. But like the really crazy stuff seems to almost entirely come from Madagascar. Like it's so even with chameleons, one of the really cool things about chameleons, so I got a panther chameleon, which are native to Madagascar, and their coloration is based on where in Madagascar they're from. So there are these communities of chameleons, the same species of chameleon, but these chameleons over time have evolved their own colorways. So like some will be like mainly blues, some will be greens and reds and stuff like that. And it's really cool. Like that's just amazing. I think that you can have, I think there's like 10 different kinds of panther chameleon colorway you can get, which is just kind of amazing, really, that exists. I mean, imagine if you could get dogs in more colors, because obviously we talk about
I mean
there's
and stuff,
reds and vibrant yellows with
that'd be crazy. But then you've got to wonder how they would be bred to that degree. I mean, it's interesting because I think there's like lemon beagles. There's all sorts of different color kind of slight
what
different
colors are lemon beagle?
No crazy. A lemon beagles is a very kind of light tan, very light tan. So and kind of patchy.
Is it all over or is it still patchy?
It's all over, yeah. So but they're more white overall.
Let me Google that.
So they look quite nice. They're very nice looking beagles. But I've got the tri-colored beagle. So he's got
brown,
black, tan,
light brown
and white, white little leggies. Which is kind of like a traditional look for beagle. But beagles come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Like honestly, like I didn't really know what to expect when getting Murphy. Because they've got very different shaped faces and stuff, so you can get very different looks. But I mean, I was wondering like the other day, like what if Murphy bred with like, I don't know, a Chihuahua? Like what would a beagle Chihuahua look like? I mean, someone must have done it somewhere. There's so many different combinations of dogs. Like some fuckers somewhere just literally just getting all these dogs and just having them breed and seeing what happens. Just like Pokemon and a weird like kind of obsession with it.
Yeah, it is. I like Chihuahua, like temperament and stuff. I think they're really cute little dogs, but I don't think they're very good looking dogs. And whenever you see
the bald ones,
whenever you see a mix, a mix of Chihuahua and Beagle, I think looks pretty bad, because it just sort of makes the quite handsome Beagle face slightly more Chihuahua-like, which I think is less handsome.
Oh, they're called Cheagles. They're tiny beagles.
Cheagle.
Yeah. Oh my god! If you Google what a Cheagle is, it's very interesting. Because you can get like miniature beagles as well. You can get like this where they're slightly smaller. I've got like the purebred, like 16-inch tall beagle. But yeah, oh man, that's a very tiny little beagle. That's a funny looking dog. But yeah, I'd like to see all the combinations and the colors and stuff. It would be interesting, but at the same time, I don't know how healthy that is for the dogs to be messed with so much. Or like, what's the biggest dog? Like a mastiff or like a what's that one that dies really quickly? The grey, the Irish greyhound.
Irish wolfhound.
Oh yeah,
wolfhound. That's the one. Yeah, wolfhound.
Have you ever seen one of those in
5 years?
I have seen one. Yeah, they're big, tall boys.
Amazing. Yeah. Like when I was at uni in Swansea, I went to like some Waterstones book signing thing, and like the book that they were selling was based on their own Irish wolfhound. They'd written about this dog, and the dog was in Waterstones with them, and it was like somebody put like a bear rug on the ground, as in like, I'd look down and it was just all dog, and I was just like, this is a huge animal. Like absolutely, like it was like laid out like with its legs like out straight, and it was just like it's like takes up the same space as a sofa would in a living room, like floor space. It is just
very big dogs,
giant. But yeah, unfortunately they only live for average of 7 years.
And apparently. What would that mix with a Chihuahua look like? That's what I want to know.
What would it look like? Irish Wolfhound mix. I love Irish Wolfhounds as well. They look so good. The second Google result I got was Irish Wolfhound Dachshund mix.
Really? Oh my god.
I don't think they exist. No way,
Man.
No
And
way.
also in some of these scenarios, is someone just holding up this like tiny dog and just letting a giant dog fuck it? Like what's happening there?
Oh god.
AI
Or are they just, or is it
imitation.
just, they're literally just using a baster, turkey
Insemination,
based
yeah.
it. Fair enough. Because it sounds traumatic otherwise, or very just weird.
But
Quickly, grab the chihuahua. Just
my current front runner for dog choice when I can eventually have one is a dachshund or a dachshund, however you want to pronounce it. Probably
yeah,
can
well, the
find it
miniature
out.
ones or regular
Yeah,
size
miniature.
one?
Yeah,
Miniature
really
ones.
small.
Yeah, I see a lot of them. Yeah,
little
Murphy's
tiny
met a
miniature
couple
ones
of
that I can just carry
ones.
everywhere. You know, just like
Yeah.
call it.
You've
yeah.
always talked about that though. I think you've always wanted one of those.
Yeah, seems just like the kind of dog that I see. Either that or like a dog that's strong and hard enough to like run with me behind me with a mountain bike. You know, as not it riding a mountain bike.
Oh right, yeah.
What people call trail dogs, but for that you need like sheep dogs and stuff like that. And
you
need
need
to
a
literally
high-energy
live
spaniel,
somewhere
maybe.
that has acres of space for them to just
And
like
go
run around all
biking
the time.
more than once a day for multiple hours.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
It's
So
quite
it's
a
kind of just
commitment.
like I live in a city. I play a lot of computer games. Probably shouldn't get
We live in a society.
a very, very, very
ultra
high energetic dog.
active.
Yeah.
My friend's got a Queensland healer. It's basically a form of Australian sheepdog, which is like has about 1 million personality. It's a rescue, so they've got about 1 million personality issues. Like it's bonkers. Like you can't stroke it. All this other stuff. Like it doesn't like people apart from its owner, sort of thing. Like, but that dog is so smart and so athletic. It blows your mind. Like it's crazy. Like at one point they threw a frisbee. It landed in the middle of like a small river, and the dog went in to get it out, and it couldn't. It put his head down to try and grab it with its mouth, but because of the water, it couldn't. As soon as it put its head in, it lost its vision because obviously the water's blurring it all, and it couldn't tell because the frisbee was down a couple of feet. It couldn't tell where to grab it from. So like about a minute went by of it trying this and looking at it, and then it kind of worked out. If I grab it with my front paws and then drag it into the shallows of the river, I'll then be able to reach it easier. So it just the problem solving it was doing was just so crazy.
That's smart.
Like, yeah, it was
Mochi
really
is
cool.
not that smart.
Yeah, it's really
she
cool
wouldn't
to see.
solve that. She struggles to, like, when you throw a ball and it goes underneath a chair and it's very much visible. She's like standing by,
Where's it gone?
looking at it.
Where's it gone?
And then she just looks back to me. It's like, well, you're gonna have to fix this one. This is beyond me.
Yeah. Well, Murphy does that as well sometimes, where he just literally will not acknowledge it. Although he's getting better. Like we've been training his smell senses basically recently with like a pig's ear, which is again as gross as it sounds. It's a real pig's ear that's dried up. They stink horribly like a farm. But the thing is, you give him a little smell of it, tell him to stay in one room, go into another room, hide it somewhere. You tell him to go, and then he'll rush in. He'll literally stand there, and you can see him literally opening his nostrils as wide as possible. Breathing on, and then he kind of just darts around, and he finds it almost like within a couple of seconds. He's very quick and finding stinky
using
little
smell.
pigs,
They are scent
treats.
dogs, right? Like as in
He's a scent dog, so
like,
it's just to train that in him, so that he's really quick on it.
Whereas
it's just really interesting to see his mode.
Bloody...
His work mode is very interesting when he gets into it because he just gets all
switches
excited
on.
and just like, but like it's not just normal sniffing. It's just really weird. He like kind of just really sniffs the air, takes a deep breath, kind of searches the room for a smell, and it's
That's
just really nice. It's really cool to see. But someone said to get him truffle hunting in woods, and stuff, which would be quite cool to try. Yeah, like I'd be well up for experimenting.
Would you have to train them with the smell first?
I imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to get him familiarized with the smell, even let him like taste it and stuff. So he's like, oh yeah, we want that. And then when he goes out, he knows what he's finding. But it's just, I don't know how to train it fully. So we're going to try and do some proper professional scent training with him. So
and also being able to like,
but he's got his nose. He needs to use it.
To have him not eat the truffles every single time as well.
Yeah,
because you'll eat a lot of truffles out there.
Well, apparently,
I don't think he really eats.
I'm not sure whether. Yeah, I think that's probably part of it. I think that by default, dogs aren't that interested in eating truffles, and that's kind of why it's easier to
get them
do
interested in it.
Yeah,
it's more likely he would smell it. Yeah, and just
I wonder whether there might be
there
truffles in the Forest of Dean, by the way, which isn't very far from here. Like we could literally go truffle hunting one day as a video.
That would be
try and
fun.
get Try and
We
get
could do
him to-
Mochi versus Murphy, and just Mochi being completely inept at it.
Yeah, we'll do the scent classes first. We can do them in the warehouse, to be fair, with the space. And yeah, you basically like, I think you get you line up cups with certain things in them, smell them, and then hide that thing, and then he tries to find the one that you've suggested. But I think there's a lot more practice to it, because obviously him identifying a specific smell and not just trying to find the stinkiest thing you can find in the room is very different things. So yeah, but yeah, I'm all up for trying that. He's bred for it, so it's certainly something that he's should be good at, really.
So in the Forest of Dean, there's apparently like thousands of wild boar. So you need to make sure
Oh,
that
really?
it doesn't just like disappear and run
charged.
after one of them.
God.
And then we have to deal with a boar. Oh,
Yeah. We're on a
Oh.
boar
So
hunt.
imagine
This truffle hunt turned into a boar hunt. He's charging at our dogs.
I imagine he has a strong prey drive,
Big
right?
stick.
He'll chase something, right?
Murphy would chase it. Yeah. Well, no, Murphy likes being chased. He likes it when other dogs like chasing him. He just wants to run around. So, like, even if we've got a ball out and stuff, he'll lose interest in that suddenly if another dog's there, because he'll want it to chase him around.
Right.
But it's not often we actually let him off the lead, because beagles are
Same.
known for following their nose and stuff, and so only in an enclosed space. So like, there's an enclosed park which we go to, which is fine for him to run around. He never leaves, but we don't take that risk elsewhere. I wouldn't probably take him off the lead walking in the streets, because he would just
He
run into
stays
the
near
road.
you, does he?
He does not give a shit. He will. Well, he does. Well, he does in the park, but out in the streets, if he gets a smell, he will follow the smell. And if that's in the middle of a road, it's in the middle of a road. But you need to make sure he's So he's stupid like that in that sense. But in the park, he's fine, and he just likes being chased by dogs.
Mochi's survival instinct is probably the worst I've ever seen. So when she gets scared, she'll run towards the thing that's causing the threat.
Danger. Oh, right.
So
Okay,
I've accidentally swapping leads. Something scared her, like a twig next to her snapped, and that was enough to send her into a frenzy. And she just darts into the road where there are cars, and that scares her. And then she runs towards the car, panicked, like she just has no base instinct to like go away from the things that are scaring me, or maybe just like go to my owner where I know it's safe.
And what does Mochi do when she sees another dog that she's not seen before? She stays still and kind of stare him down.
Yeah, she'll either be very excited to see them. I think she's more scared of smaller dogs than bigger dogs. I think she knows her place with big dogs. She'll sit there, allow the big dog to sniff her, and then slowly build up courage and then start getting excited. Whereas with the smaller dogs, she's like, I'm not so sure about this, and there's a little like standoffish with them, which is interesting. I don't know whether she's like, I guess I have to assert dominance or something. I don't know what to do. So she just panics.
So I find it weird because Murphy will literally just stand in the spot, locked in. He won't move anywhere else. He'll stare at the dog and wait until they come near him. Or he'll lay down at some point. He just wants that dog to approach him. He doesn't want to have to go up to them. And he's just kind of curious, so he just stops dead. It doesn't matter if they're really fucking far away as well. It's like, what are you stopping for? And there's like a dog, like really like far away. He's just spotted it,
like a speck.
Huh? And he just stays still. It's quite funny. But the weirdest thing I find with having a dog is when they stare into like a point of the room that nothing is there, like nothing, like or into a corner of a room or something. And you're like,
see why people build up these strange like ghosts must be ghosts, because they probably dogs don't help in that scenario where they start barking at a wall for no reason.
See, I can feel for them a little bit, because I do that sometimes. When I start thinking about something, I'll just like
drift off into different.
I'll like open my eyes and like it looks really weird for people looking at me outside, but I'm just like. But maybe that's what they're doing, because in that situation, I'm not using my eye. I'm not using my eyes. But
you suddenly snap to that point though, because that's the whole point. He'll suddenly go.
They go. Oh really?
They lock to it.
He'll snap to a corner, lock to it, look at for ages. Then sometimes he'll get up, walk up to it, look, and then kind of come back, and then but he'll focus on a point and like think that something's there. And when there's nothing there, you're like, what the fuck is he looking at? And the other creepy thing he does as well is like he did it yesterday, which was weird. He was just sat down sleeping, and suddenly he kind of jolted up as if someone had punched him. Like he got up, like looked behind him. He's like literally scared, like something had hit him and touched him. And then he just got back to sleep again. It was just the weirdest kind of thing,
right?
Probably a dream, like Twitch or something. But like those are the freaky moments where it's like,
that's when they.
Are you sensing something that I don't sense?
Remember that dogs are capable of waking themselves up with their own farts and then not knowing.
Yeah,
they did it.
I think it's
Oh yeah. That's happened a lot. Yeah, or doing a fart and not realizing it was them, or just hearing it and then being surprised. Huh? What was that? What was that noise? Never mind.
What's that smell?
But yeah, fucking funny. Having a funny little dog in the corner.
God, somebody's farted in there. Yes, they
It's
have.
horrible. Then leave the room. That's the worst one. Drop a disgusting, stinky dog fart. And
I've got
How
places
you
to
human
be.
beings live in this filth?
I'm off. It's horrible.
I'm gonna go and destroy a duvet in your other room. See you in a bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go bury some shit into the duvet.
I'm not sure, but I think our dog might be a bit of a bastard.
He's a bit of a shit, isn't he? He's just leaving just poop particles in my nostrils and then buggering off.
Have fun with that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's we spoke about cats a lot last time as well. We've very pet centric hat chats.
Yeah,
It's a
recently.
safe topic,
was with
isn't
us.
it?
It's a safe topic. It's
Very safe.
the only thing that I've kind of had that's kind of changed over this period of time as well. Really, like obviously, like nothing new has happened. Obviously, we're still in lockdown. There is a promise of opening soon, which is nice to look forward to. But don't get your hopes up. And yeah, the key change in my life is the dog. And so that's quite interesting.
And the
for me
pit bull
still, but I apologize to anyone who's and the pit bull piss thing. But that's more of just a frustrating situation because it's been happening for weeks now.
Still dog related though.
It was only when
innit?
it actually
Free warm
happened.
shower
Free
every
shower.
week.
Well, I actually did get a couple of drops on my head, and I'm pretty sure it was piss. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And if you look up, there's like these kind of like very brownish kind of droplets that look like they're about to drop. They're like kind of just little water bits, just ready to go. And I'm like, "Fuck me." What are you supposed to do? That just get a hose in the
like
top?
Battery acid, isn't it? Like in its capability
time.
to corrupt things, like
Yeah.
just like ruin stuff, and yeah.
The smell is just so fucking ungodly.
All I have to deal with occasionally is Dorito poo, which is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Pretty
Does
bad.
it stink much?
Oh,
Is it a stinky little?
It absolutely reeks. Like
Bug.
like this. It smells like pig shit. I'll tell you what. That's exactly what it
Right.
smells like. You know when you go past the
Damn.
farm and you're
Okay.
like, God, that's a complexly
It's just an
overwhelming smell.
overwhelming smell. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what her poo smells like. His poo, lovely. Little pellets, like hamster poo. You know, with hamster poo, like it smells a bit when it's brand new, but once it dries out, it's just
That's
like
it. It's gone.
chuck it out. Yeah, I just scoop it out and flush it,
Have a nibble. It's like Nesquik.
So
Little nibble.
it is just like Nesquik. If you put it in hot water, it's a delicious drink. One thing I do have, which again is super cool, and something that's been a project of mine during lockdown is, again, you can't quite see it, but just here is Huey's tank, like this one here, right? And that's actually a bioactive vivarium, right? Which means that the soil in there contains a bunch of other little bugs and things. So I've got a couple of things. I've got springtails, which are like these very, very small little bugs that basically go through the soil and eat it and poop it out and mulch it and basically create super nutritious soil. And then there are larger called tropical isopods. They're essentially woodlice. You get boxes of woodlice and you chuck them in there as well. And you plant a load of plants and things like that. So I've got all the live plants in there. And so whilst the chameleon's crawling around on his branches, occasionally he'll do a poop, which will drop down to the bottom of the enclosure, which will again eventually be found by one of these isopods, which will munch it down, poop it out, which then gets eaten and churned up by the springtails, which then basically
it's an ecosystem
down
That's
into
nice.
the soil, exactly, and helps the plants grow further. And so yeah, it's this like whole like bioactive environment, which has been really cool. So I don't have to take out his poos anymore because they just get mulched up into fertilizer for the plants that grow. Yeah, pretty cool.
You just want to make sure it's airtight, or at least not.
Oh, it doesn't smell that bad at all. It doesn't smell bad at all. It's not. So it's got a mesh top. But no, it doesn't smell really like Doritos smell. Like when Dorito takes a poo, I'll walk into the office room, which is where this is, and I'll smell it instantly, and I'll be like, "Oh God, she's taking a shit in here." Like, but him, nothing. No.
Oh, fair enough.
Pleasant.
The system works.
Nuggets of.
Do you think we should have a system like that? What would be our poop?
So that's what's really interesting. So isopods, which are woodlice scaled up. So have you ever seen? You guys have definitely seen this, but it might be worth a quick Google. They're called deep sea marine isopods. And they are about this big, as in they're about the size of 2 hands usually, and they are giant deep sea woodlice that eat all of the stuff that falls to the bottom of the ocean. So all of the crap, all of any of the detritus organic shit that falls down to the bottom of the sea, they will eat them. Yeah, they're nightmare fuel, absolute nightmare fuel.
Looks like a Pokemon.
Yeah, it does. And they will eat up all of that waste and then excrete it and recycle it back into the ocean. And all they're basically nature's garbage men. So
you're these tiny little ones in yours.
Yeah. So we would need to live. I mean, if we lived in a forest, right? If we lived in an active, a big English forest, and we took our dumps on the ground. Eventually insects and things would come and break that poo down into a fertilizer essentially that would help the forest grow. So that's all you'd really need. The mechanics are there in place. It's just how you've got to go fully natural. That's the problem. Which for a lot of us is too unclean. Would you really want to have the ground of your bedroom alive with insects? Probably
not really. No, that's no. But then I guess, well, what do cats have? They have a litter tray, right? And they just go in there and then they just cover it over.
I'm a little jealous of cat owners because they have this new crazy litter tray smart thing available. It's probably very expensive. Have you seen it? Where it's like basically a pod.
No, I'm not.
Where
it spins.
It spins. Well, you explain it because I don't really know too much about it.
I mean, they're not that clever, really, Trott. What they are, I think what you're talking about is this, like, the cat goes and poos in its litter, like the rocks or whatever they normally use for litter. And then once it gets to a certain point, the machine knows that it's got too much poop in it. So it spins it, dumps a lot of the poo out, kind of filters out any remaining litter that's still good, adds a bit more litter, and then that poo gets just distributed into like a drawer underneath, which you then still need to empty eventually. But
like a self-cleaning litter box. I think it's called, where it's just literally rotates it down.
Have like app
really
integration, so you can get notifications like empty the tray, or your cat's just done a massive shit. Excellent. Stuff like that, which I think
this was 440 quid.
I want it for dogs.
Most dogs wouldn't use it, I imagine. Most dogs probably
need to scale up, though, right? Needs to scale up.
Yeah, I guess I think if you like Mochi, you could probably fit in it, and I think if you trained enough, you could. I mean, the fact that we managed to train, you managed to train Mochi, and I managed to train Murphy onto the basically what is probably about, I don't know, an artificial green grass thing that he pisses on. Murphy doesn't poop on it. I don't know if Mochi pooped on hers, but he doesn't poop on it. He only likes to poop outside and onto plants. More recently, daffodils as they're sprouting up.
Just plants.
He likes to poop onto large, kind of lifted up surfaces. And he just kind of puts his leg over and plops down, and he knows that that's where he wants it to go, on the leaves, maybe lifted up slightly. So it's quite hard to actually pick them out because you're just
presented like a dessert, maybe.
Yeah, presented like a little truffle, maybe with some green coming out of it.
On top of the flower, isn't that cute?
It almost seems quite malicious to.
Here's a dog poo.
Yeah. But for some reason he didn't want to poop in it. But there's no reason why you couldn't train Mochi to get inside one of those cat things and just poop there.
I think so.
On command. It would just take some time. And then then you're sorted. Like, you wouldn't even need a garden, but you do have a garden, and that's
I have that anyway.
The best place.
But there's times where it's really wet and rainy out there, and I don't want to go out. So there's another option.
Pod into the pod with you.
If I get a cat as well, they can both use it and take turns.
Exactly. Well, or if the cat gets defensive about their special pooping place.
True.
They might be a bit annoyed.
Have a different way of dealing with that sort of thing.
Who knows?
Well,
I saw an interesting thing on a house the other day, Trott, just quickly. You might want to consider. I saw a person that made an extension on their house that was just literally a greenhouse attached to the side of it, but they built in like a walkway. So you know how like those American style houses that have the walkway along the front of the house, right? Imagine that, but at the back of the house, and it's still got glass, but like you walk through a pair of like double doors. So you've got your insulated house, and you walk through double doors out into like a walkway, a covered walkway that then goes along to a greenhouse on the side, literally attached to the side of the house. And I was like, oh man, that'd be great for growing plants. But you could have something like that you could let your dog or your cat go out and do a poop in it during the winter,
Yeah,
or something.
and they can see the outdoors. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could do that as well. You could just go out and just have a look outside without having to take your slippers off. It looks quite nice.
That's pretty
Anyway.
smart.
Trott, do you have a cat flap?
I
does
do.
Mochi use a
Yes.
cat flap? Is
I've
that used by Mochi?
tried to train her to use it. She's too terrified of the sound of it because it's automated. It uses the microchip to unlock, so other cats can't come in. But that sound of it's a very sudden noise that she's nope, don't want to go through that. So I've struggled to get her to go through it, but it's there.
Because I'm getting a thing which basically dangle from door handles, which has bells on it, so that he taps the bell and then I open the back door for him, rather than him scratching the living shit out of the doors. Because
smart.
Going to a new place, I don't want him to absolutely destroy everything. But I was tempted to get a cat flap, so that you could just go outside without me having to open the door properly. But I don't know if it's I don't know how you'd install it. Maybe replace a pane of glass in the
you have to cut out the door
or something.
and then put it in.
Yeah.
So it's not easy. Well, it's kind of easy if you know what you're doing.
It saves that hassle, but I don't know if he'd use it. He might do. We'll see.
Well, stay tuned. We'll get an update on that in a couple of weeks' time.
On the dog flaps,
on the dog flaps, very important. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this hat chat today of dog and reptile talk, and mostly shit again. Actually,
there's a lot of poop talk. It happens.
A lot of poop and shit. But
we'll do it, guys.
We've got a lot of crap to talk about.
We've got a lot of crap to talk about. Nice. If you are enjoying our show, it is not sponsored in its current form. So we'd like to lovingly thank the Patreon supporters for keeping this aloft and keeping this going. You can head to patreon.com/hatfilms to be featured in the credits at the end. Wow, what an accolade. You can, screenshot that, print it out, put it on your wall. Yeah. I was in that credits. Amazing. Thank you very much for doing that. Also, if you're just as talented as, let me get the Guitar Girl Alex, if you're just as talented as them and that you can make a nice fingle for us, please send it to our email, hatchat@hat-films.com. We'd really appreciate that. We want to feature you in our next podcast episode. Yeah. And if you've got some amazing stories or stuff you want us to talk about, email there too. You never know. It might inspire us for a whole episode on a certain theme or a topic. And yeah, hope you all keep safe for the next couple of weeks, and we'll be back, hopefully, on time. We know we miss a couple of weeks because of brand deals and whatnot, but we try and do it every other week.
Schedules.
So, obviously, all of this is available on our YouTube channel as well. Just look for the Hat Chat podcast. If you want to see the visuals, you want to see Smith's reptile tanks, that sort of thing. Yep. It's all available there. And we're also all on the podcast services that you know and love if you just want to listen. So there you go. Is that enough plugging? I think so. Sweet.
I think so. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. In which case, I will let Guitar Girl Alex play us out. Goodbye from us.
Ta-ra.
Bye.